So do you write in chronological order or not when you're writing a story? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm Kelly Blanchard, the author of the Chronicles of Loic series. So you're trying to get started with writing, but the thing is that you're not sure if you should write in order of the scenes of how they take place, or can you bounce around? Can you just write this scene and you're like, oh, I really want to write this scene, you jump to that scene. What should you do? Okay, both ways are accurate, both ways work for different people. It really depends on your style. Now, if you really want to if you're organized and you just want to hammer away at one scene and another scene, just progress from literally the beginning to the end, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do it. However, if you really you're writing, you're like, you know what? I have this one scene in mind. I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. So I'm going to just jump to it and write it out. You can do that too. Both ways work. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons though. Writing in order, in chronological order, can be a little bit frustrating because you're writing and then you come to a boring scene. There's always a boring scene, no matter how exciting your story is. There's always a scene that you're not excited to write. And you have to, if you're writing in chronological order, you have to get through that scene before you get to the next fun scene. So there's that to consider. But as you do that, the fun thing about that is you get to that difficult scene. You know that the next scene, maybe the two scenes down the way, is actually a really fun scene. So it's kind of like you reward yourself by getting through that difficult scene when you finally get to the fun scene. Make sense? So if you like to jump around though, that works. But there's one problem with that. You jump around, you have all these exciting fun scenes to write. You write all of them, and what do you have left? The boring scenes. And you're not really sure how to connect everything together, so you're just hoping to fill in the blanks and to tie it together, and then you have to revise and rewrite majorly because it wasn't written in one order. Does that make sense? So there is both ways, or something to consider. So either way works, like I said. But if you are having trouble with writing and you are the kind of person who jumps around, you're like, oh, I got to a boring scene, I don't really want to write that, but I want to write the next exciting scene, so you jump to that. If you do that and you find yourself not really finishing your book and you're coming back and looking at it, you're like, I don't really want to, you don't have the motivation to do it or the inspiration to do it, and you move on to another story and you find out that you don't really have any stories that are finished, then maybe you should slow down and try to write in chronological order just to kind of see if you can do it. Because as I said, if you write in chronological order, then you get to a difficult scene, but you know that a few scenes later will be this really awesome, exciting scene to write that you can't wait to get to. So you've got to get through the hard part before you finally get to the fun part. And so it's kind of like in real life, sometimes you have to do stuff that you don't like to do and you don't want to do, but you do it, and you have a good award later for that. So it's something to consider. I write in chronological order, but people do it differently, and it works for whatever way they do it. And if you do write in chronological order and you find out that it's not working for you, then try not to. Just go back and forth, figure out what works for you. So as I said, I write in chronological order because I like to write it where I'm beginning it and I can see the story unfolding, and sometimes it changes on me, which I wasn't expecting. So I just keep going with that change and I watch it unfold, so it's totally different. That means I might not actually write a scene that I had hoped to write later, but the story is actually better for it. Make sense? So if you're jumping around all the time, you might write a scene for a story that's no longer going to exist once you write all the way through. So, but like I said, either way is right. I know people who write both ways, and they can finish a story and they can do it. So whichever way you want to do it, then do it. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I said though, if you're struggling with one, try the other, because there's no one way to do it. So just have fun with it and experiment and just keep writing. That's the most important part. You can do it. I know you can. I believe in you.